We haven't got that long to discuss Gregg Wallace. In fact, Philip, we've got 8 minutes. No, you got 4 minutes. For 2 minutes. You got 2 minutes. That's what he used to get loads of money for bellowing units of time. Why? He's not an expert on food. He's a fruit and veg man. That is lovely. That is. I mean. It's like some bloke down the market eating a pie. That is delicious, yeah. Right, you got 2 minutes. Anyway, he's sacked. And he's sacked for alleged inappropriate behaviour around women accused of groping them. The BBC says that since they began their inquiry last November due to a complaint, they've had 50 more complaints. There are allegations that he ran around the studio naked with just a sock on and not on his feet, if you know what I mean. And that he groped at least one woman. So there are 50 allegations out there. He says he's not going quietly, and to be honest with you, he's played, you know, yeah, I don't know. I don't take any particular position on this, but I don't like the fact he's playing the mental health card. He's basically saying, oh, I've got autism. Because one of the stories was that he didn't wear underwear and used to tell women about it, you know. And he's now saying that the reason, or friends, in other words him, are saying that the reason he didn't wear underwear was because of his autism. Eh? But what it apparently, it's truth. It's because he had an aversion to labels or something, he says. But he's also saying that the BBC ignored his autism and ignored his long-standing mental health issues, if he had any. So he's playing the mental health card. And I only mention that because it plays into what I really want to talk about now, which is what you might call Britain's overdiagnosis problem. We are diagnosing too many people, in my view, with you know, mental health issues. Now, 531 people every day last year were granted welfare benefits due to their alleged mental health issues. That's one new PIP recipient every 3 minutes. Figures for April reveal that 407,000 people got the green light, you know, for benefits, free cars, things like that, for mixed anxiety and depression, 62,000 for anxiety disorders, 83,000 for ADHD, and the 1.4 million people in April, this is just a sample month, who got PIP, represents a 70% rise since 2020. Not to mention the 32,000 lucky people who got free cars on the Motability scheme because they're depressed or they have anxiety. And I read another story that local councils are facing bankruptcy because so many kids are being diagnosed with mental health problems.
I mean, just to get back to Gregg Wallace very, very quickly, what he should have done is play the trans card. He'd be back at work now.
Exactly, yeah.
You know, a wig, and he'd be a pink wig, and he'd be there. Yeah, this is this comes as no surprise, and we've talked about this ridiculous PIP payment scheme before. One of the things that this pathologizing of all experience, and if everybody isn't completely happy and joyous and grinning all the time, then there is something wrong with you. No, some kind of stress and anxiety is actually good in your life. It's called living, it's called getting things done, it's called, you know, having a family and a job and all of that kind of thing. But people weaponize it, don't they? And I'm not saying that some people don't have terrible mental health disorders. Of course they do, but we're not talking about that. We're talking about 83,000 people claiming for ADHD here. Well, what people tend to do is use it. You know, it becomes part of their identity. It's my depression, it's my anxiety, and it's very useful. So I was in academia for 25 years, and towards the end of that time, people never bothered about deadlines, okay? Because what they just used to say, I've got depression and anxiety, I'll hand it in later. And the institutions just say, okay then.
Oh, if you've got depression and anxiety, you've got mental health issues. Yeah. I mean, you know, this isn't to diminish or undermine
of course not.
the seriousness of mental health issues, but we know A lot of people are playing that card who don't really have mental health issues. You can get free benefits, you can get time off work. If you're a student, you don't have to hand your essays in on time, and so on and so forth. It's a good way of not getting sacked as well. And you know, these days naughty kids are being diagnosed with some sort of medical condition. No, they're just naughty kids, aren't they?
They're just naughty kids, but also it's people cling on to these things. It gives them some kind. It makes them a little bit special. It makes them unique. Of course, it doesn't, because everybody's got the same condition. But that's what they think, and so people are being paid for these imaginary conditions half the time. I'm not saying all of them are, but for half the time they're being paid for this. And ultimately, it comes down to us. It comes down to the taxpayer. It comes down to the viewers. It comes down to the listeners. We're paying for this, and it needs to stop because it's completely out of control. Unfortunately, Keir Starmer is not the man to stop it.
No, it's not. I think in this country, and that's what I think Gregg Wallace is latching onto, is we do have a massive overdiagnosis problem. We diagnose conditions left, right and centre, and now it is part and parcel of our grotesque welfare system. You know, people are getting, as I say, free. More than 32,000 people last year got free cars on the Motability scheme. They'll go, they're not free, you have to take some of your benefits, you know, but you know what I mean. You basically get free brand new cars because you've got anxiety or depression. 20 people got brand new free cars because they had constipation. That's not a joke. That's true. 40 got free cars because they got tennis elbow. So it's ridiculous. So this overdiagnosis problem plays into our grotesque, bloated welfare system, and therefore we have a swirling mass of a problem, if you ask me. We spend £300 billion a year on our welfare system. That's extraordinary. That's obscene.
It's extraordinary, and it's not, like I say, it's not going to go away because it's part of the Labour ethos. It's part of socialism. It's part of what they do. They want to give away free things. Everyone's a victim. Everything's free, but nobody wants to pay for anything.
Exactly right.